Hey, how are you guys doing today? I just wanted to talk about traditional Christianity and colonialism and how they're mutually exclusive. So, when Jesus died, there was like a spiritual kind of like awakening and revolution where people were dying. And then the government at that time, um, they implemented a lot of syncretism and stuff so that they could control the population through manipulation and stuff. So originally, the religion that follows Yehoshua or Jesus, they call it. I think his original name is Yehoshua. That movement and religion was different than what you see today. Um, the government of the time had to manipulate it and stuff to help control people, but originally the government wasn't able to control the people of that movement because it was a spiritual, like a new type of spiritual movement. So that's like traditional Christian spirituality or traditionalism or whatever, but it's morphed into something that it was originally not through like politics and government and other things that I can't really talk about because I don't want this channel to get shut down. So basically, like colonialism and traditional Christianity, they're two mutually exclusive things. Um, in the religion and the spirit behind Yehoshua, um, it's a very meek, gentle religion or spiritual system where we're focusing more on the afterlife and doing good than we are on consumption. So colonialism is a lot based on like consumption and creating stuff and like systems and government, where traditional spirituality from Yehoshua is um is about meekness and serving other people and loving other people. So I'm just want to read this passage real quick. Um, it's in. I can leave the description in there. It says, "So do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works they do. For they preach but do not practice." I'm going to read that again. "So do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works they do, for they preach but do not practice." So a lot of people from Yehoshua's religion, um, they say stuff and do what they say, but not actually what they do. Cause like colonialism and that type of stuff, that's like a perversion. So like money and like stuff like that isn't inherently bad, but when we worship it, when it takes place of over relationships and the creator, then it's bad. That's a colonial value. That is not traditional value of what I practice and what Yehoshua teaches. That's a lot to kind of take in of like traditionalism and stuff. Um, that's just something I wanted to kind of like explain. So Yehoshua says that those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. So a lot of like things in the text, the ancient texts, are true. They're true mentally, but that doesn't mean those who say the stuff that's true mentally, that doesn't mean they believe it, and it doesn't mean that they're actually practicing that. Because a lot of the things that people practice aren't historical of that religion. It's not traditional. It's not coherent. There's no integrity to the text or the spirit of the text. but a lot of it's man-made. So colonialism and Christianity, if you even want to call it Christianity, those two things are mutually exclusive. So you can follow Yehoshua and stuff and be an anti-colonialist. Because following Yehoshua and being a colonialist, those are not the same thing. They're not synonymous. They're not congruent. They're actually almost contradictory. Following Yehoshua and being a colonialist is actually almost like opposite sides of the spectrum. That's what like I'll say now. Like I follow Yehoshua, but this is not necessarily a channel that really promotes that. Like I believe that personally, like I believe that's the only way to make it in the afterlife and be in right standing with the creator or whatever. Like that's the only way. But this is not necessarily a channel that promotes that stuff. It's just like an educational channel, and I just wanted to clarify that just so people can have like different ideas and interpretations. So like a lot of this stuff in that ancient text is true, accurate, and biblical in the way the creator has designed spirituality, but the way it's practiced and lived out in the West and through colonialism is not true, and it actually almost completely contradicts what's in the actual text. So with that being said, just know that you have to find your own path through Yehoshua to get to the right place in life. And it's going to look a lot different for other people. But traditional values like meekness, humility, generosity, listening more than speaking, honoring elders, stuff like that, not having like materialism. I think it was Sitting Bull who talked about like the colonialists, that they have a disease of loving possessions. So that's not like loving possessions. That's not traditional. That's not a traditional teaching of Yehoshua. It's not traditional teaching of what's actually in the sacred text. So I just want to like say that, kind of have people like brainstorm like those certain things. So remember, colonialism and like traditional teachings of Yehoshua are almost completely mutually exclusive. I can talk more on that like in later videos. That's kind of all I have to say for right now. So just remember, like those who worship the creator, God, perhaps, like that's what you can call him. Those who worship him must worship in the right spirit and the right mindset. So spirit and truth. Those who worship him might worship in the right spirit and mindset. A lot of people have the right mindset in the West and colonialism in a sense, but they don't actually do what the ancient texts say, and they don't have the right spirit. They don't have the right spirit. So those are just concepts I want to help you guys like learn about, grow about. Just remember that colonialism and traditional like teaching, traditional Christianity, not like Christianity today, but like traditional stuff, and colonialism are almost like mutually exclusive, almost completely mutually exclusive. So that's what I'll like leave you guys with. There's more I can say. Hopefully I can make more in other videos. If you have any questions, want me to comment on anything, just let me know. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Another thing I forgot to leave out is indigenous kind of there's like a sacred fire in a sense, if you will. That thing, that like spiritual component, a lot of that is like created by God, the creator, or whatever. And that thing, a lot of those teachings and stuff, that will help rejuvenate the world, like indigenous teachings. That's kind of why I have this channel. Um, Not to necessarily promote anything, but just to kind of like expose like these truths, these traditional truths. So that's the one thing I wanted to say. Like indigenous teachings, there's like a sacredness to it, and a lot of the values. And that's not saying necessarily like everything or everyone uh, is necessarily in right standing or favor of like all people. Doesn't mean that they're like in right standing in favor with the creator, but a lot of like traditional values of indigenous people, especially in the Western hemisphere, that represents the spirit of Yehoshua, and that spirit of Yehoshua is what will help change the world. So indigenous values, indigenous cultures, indigenous like work and helping that consciousness, kind of like when you're doing that, that's almost like helping kind of like the creator, in a sense, Yehoshua, accomplish his goals. So that's kind of why I have this like educational channel. And that's I just wanted to add that to my video, because I forgot that, and that's why I like speak on that, because there's like a sacred fire with indigenous spirituality and cultures. That doesn't mean I necessarily hold like complete submission to every single thing that every religion does of all people, but I'm just saying there's certain concepts, certain emphasis on those things that are very important. So thank you.